What's up, Cement fam? What's up, Kingdom Built fam? I'm your coach. I'm your host, AJ Sims, coming at you with another edition of the Kingdom Built podcast. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about a very common topic and issue that most would like to just sweep under the rug, or you just don't know what it is. For those that are on your performance enhancing cycles, or TRT even possibly, TRT plus that is, have you ever been feeling the fact that maybe things just feel dull as of lately? The things that gave you pleasure once are doing almost next to nothing for you. Maybe that was time with your loved ones, or that was a good movie, or your favorite song that used to just get you pumped up. Or, if you're like me, amazing food that you just look forward to every single last bite. But however, it's not doing those things for you anymore. Well, I am here to educate you on what that is. That is called anhedonia. Anhedonia is basically where you feel no sense of pleasure. And by taking performance-enhancing drugs, we are getting down-regulation of specific neurotransmitters, neuromodulators, and we are causing a whole host of issues, not only from a neurological standpoint, but also from the gut-brain axis and the HPA axis, which is hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. Long word. But today, I'm going to show you how we can reverse it, build you back from the ground up, and get you feeling your absolute best. Because guys, I don't want you going through that. I've been through it before back in my heyday of competing, and it is not fun, let me tell you, but there's a way out. Stay tuned, guys. All right, guys, like I said, we're going to be talking all things anhedonia and and there's going to be somebody in the comment section that says, you're just not saying that right. Well, that's besides the point. We know, if you look it up, what we're talking about a lack of pleasure. Pleasure senses that we're just not feeling because we have down-regulated neuromodulators in the form of dopamine, down-regulated serotonin, and all these other cofactors that are coming in, causing a cascading effect in your body, and it's messing with you as a whole. It's messing your life up, I'm telling you. Those loved ones that are around you probably are not having the best time with you anymore. So we're here to fix that today on this episode. Let's get into it. So we know that PEDs as a whole and over usage of stimulants can cause too much dopamine release, causing downregulation as a whole of dopamine. And over time, what happens is you build up this tolerance of the dopamine that was being released once and giving you those feel-good neuromodulator, kick in the butt, motivated, ready to go, pumped up, checking my box off of my to-do list, and I get that dopamine hit. They've been downregulated. We're just not feeling these things anymore like we once did. So we know the chronic use of PEDs over time can alter the pathways of serotonin. So now we're getting dysregulated serotonin levels, which is responsible for overall mood regulation. And what do we get with that? We get depression. We get altered anxiety issues. We get all these cascading effects where serotonin comes in and it does what it needs to do. And serotonin, obviously, a lot of it, I believe 30 to 40% can be produced in the gut. And by utilizing performance enhancers, we know that the gut-brain axis can also be altered and downgraded because we're getting an inflammatory response within the gut as a whole, signaling to the brain and causing issues within the vagal nerve. The vagal nerve being responsible for the autonomic nervous system for fight or flight, sympathetic, or rest and digest, parasympathetic. This is all combining dysregulations as they go on. So now we have the dopaminergic system and we have the serotonin pathways being altered, which will lead into the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which will help regulate cortisol as a whole. That will also play off that autonomic nervous system. See what I'm getting to, guys? They all tie together. It's incredible how the body works. You alter one thing, typically something else gets altered, and then typically something else gets altered. Not always, but more times than not, especially when we're dabbling into PED usage. And getting into all these issues can cause this cascading effect. And again, the overuse of stimulants or PEDs will also downregulate GABA and glutamate. GABA being what's needed and necessary for the calming effect, and glutamate being specifically for the excitatory signals helping regulate overall mood balance. And then from there, we also have issues with testosterone and estrogen management, and also T4 to T3 conversion. So we have thyroid dysfunction, which correlates into the gut-brain axis. We talked about it already. How this inflammatory response to performance enhancers can cause havoc on the microbiome as a whole. So now we're having issues systemically all over because there is a correlation of the two. All right, so we need to make sure that we're watching for each of these issues down to the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which of course, again, correlates with cortisol. So guys, how do we fix this? I don't want to be playing word salad with you guys and just say, get to the point, AJ. So here I am, let's get to the point. What can we do to help mitigate this and or restore or recover these issues that we're having to get you back on track? Well, we can take supplements like L-tyrosine or NALT and acetyl L-tyrosine, which is responsible for helping produce more dopamine. It's also great for a precursor to thyroid functionality. So you're killing two birds with one stone. I love L-tyrosine or NALT at 1,000 milligrams per day, first thing in the morning. Your mileage may vary. That's what I personally do. So take my dosage recommendations with a grain of salt. Try it out on yourself, take a log, see how you feel, build it from there based off your data. After that, we have 5-HTP and L-tryptophan. These are specific supplements to help boost up serotonin, and we're going to help get that regulation of mood. You'll see 5-HTP and L-tryptophan in a lot of sleep aid supplements. So this is a phenomenal tool, again, to help with production of serotonin. After that, we have phosphatidylserine, which will help reduce overall cortisol and help balance out that HPA axis. Remember, that's a long word. I'm not going to say it again. Phosphatidylserine, dosage is around 400 to 800 milligrams. Your mileage may vary again. Make sure when you go for a phosphatidylserine supplement, you don't go cheap and you get the highest quality phosphatidylserine. The next one we have is L-Car, known as acetyl L-carnitine, helping support mitochondrial function and dopamine receptor sensitivity. I love to dose L-Car at about 500 milligrams 3 times a day, spaced out evenly. So in the morning, middle of the day, and then early in the evening. So a phenomenal tool in acetyl L-carnitine. The next we have lion's mane mushroom to help restore nerve growth factor, NGF, and also increase neuroplasticity. It's a great medicinal mushroom and adaptogen to be able to help with those two things when you're dealing with anhedonia. We also have Micronutrients known as L-Dopa, natural source of L-Dopa that supports levels, particularly after depletion from PEDs. Typically, I will dose Micronutrients at about 400 milligrams once or twice a day. Your mileage may vary. And then there we have things like micronutrients come in the form of vitamin D3 and K2, zinc, copper, magnesium, very important and vital, as well as ashwagandha to help control cortisol levels and regulate them even better. I'm going to say it again, your mileage may vary with these supplements, so understand that you have to take my dosages with a grain of salt. When it comes to vitamin D3 and K2, make sure you're getting your labs tested to see where your levels are actually at for the most optimal range. I typically will take anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3 and K2. It is vital, especially in the winter seasons when you're not outside getting enough sunlight to even increase it much more. So very important. Again, your mileage may vary. When it comes to magnesium, I love magnesium 3 and 8 from the cognitive standpoint with helping with overall brain health and cognition. And with zinc, again, your mileage may vary. I love to take zinc paired with copper together. I get it through a company called Bulletproof. They pair it together. Phenomenal blend. I have no affiliation whatsoever, and I only need to take 1 serving a day. Ashwagandha being another great supplement aiding in reducing overall cortisol. Dosages may vary around 300 to 600 milligrams. Remember, you may be different. So test out what feels good for you, what you feel the best on. Watch for any issues of taking ashwagandha and feeling any hormonal imbalances. But we're taking this adaptogen for overall reduction in cortisol. And then from there, we need to repair the gut health. So we need to optimize gut health if we're dealing with SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, any type of dysbiosis, leaky gut, which is basically getting out LPS, lipopolysaccharides. Those tight junctions are opening up and you're getting a bunch of bad invaders that we do not want, that need to be staying in the gut. So we're having systemic inflammation all over and we need to supplement with specific pre and probiotics. Prebiotics being in the form of lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. These two specific strands are phenomenal for these issues. However, with the strands, it is customized to the individual. If you have a histamine intolerance or you're more soil-based organism, SBO style probiotic, you need to find out what works best for you. You can also get probiotics soil-based in the form of fermented vegetables, sauerkraut, kimchi. Make sure that they are shipped cold and they're always stored cold because they're living, breathing organisms, along with raw kefir. Phenomenal to supplement in raw kefir if you can get it in your local area. From there, we have prebiotics ranging from sun fiber, Prefer Pro, which I have in my gut revival, which works in phages, dosed clinically at 15 milligrams, can work within 1 hour to get in there, grab onto those bad invaders, move them out so that we can restore with all the good guys to get all that good gut bacteria and fix that microbiota. Then we have glutamine. Glutamine is phenomenal for healing stomach lining, as well as bone broth, collagen-based proline, and glycine in there to help seal up those tight junctions. We want to optimize gut health because there is that gut-brain axis, and it's directly correlated to all of these things that we're dealing with. And then from there, we have overall stress management. I talk about this all the time. You have to learn how to manage stress. You have to take daily mindful digestion walks if you have the ability and capacity to do so with your work schedule or your life. Get out and get in the sun, 10 to 15 minutes postprandial walks to help insulin sensitivity, regulate that glucose, but also be present in the moment. Practicing box breathing while you're doing it, 4 seconds in, hold, 4 seconds out through the nostrils. Get into that breathing pattern. And also you can get into some self-induced cold exposure. So we're getting into some stressful situations and learning how to box breathe in that stressful environment, which will also stimulate the vagal nerve if it is on the cold water. It's a phenomenal way to be able to get some stress management in, but also understanding that it's time to shut the devices down. The TVs, scrolling through social media, constantly looking at Reddit, you know what I'm talking about, and or looking at a YouTube video like this. You need to learn how to be present at least 1 hour during the day with your family, your loved ones, or just in solitude and silence, whether it's in the morning, middle of the day, or late at night, to get into that parasympathetic rest and digest. So stress management is going to be key. And then from there, we're building a sleep hygiene protocol. We're optimizing sleep. So we need to get into the slow wave sleep. We also need to get into the REM sleep, the rapid eye movement sleep. So we can utilize supplements like magnesium glycinate, magnesium threonate. We can use GABA supplementation. We can use ashwagandha. We can use instant release melatonin. We can combine that with glycine. We can wear our blue light block glasses, set our room temperature very low to regulate core body temperature, and or get a chili pad if you have a wife and she just will not let you turn it down below 70. You have your side of the bed, getting that thermal core temperature regulated, getting you into a deeper restorative sleep. It's so important, which also we can get into glymphatic drainage and the importance of glymphatic drainage. Glymphatic drainage is getting the system cleared out of all the potential harmful proteins and waste products neurologically. So very important because we don't want to get into neurodegeneration. So inefficient glymphatic drainage can lead and contribute to the accumulation of toxic substances like amyloid beta and TAO, which is associated with Alzheimer's. And that's why I love to do the infrared sauna in the evening every night to help with glymphatic drainage. Very important because we know that you guys are already working out, which is phenomenal for glymphatic drainage, but cold exposure is another one of them. So making sure that you're getting infrared sauna, cold exposure, whether you're doing a cold shower, a cold plunge, whatever the case is. We're coming up on winter, so if you guys live in a colder climate, go dive in the lake. You know, listen, caution. I didn't tell you to jump in the deep end, but go get your feet in at least and get that neck in to get that vagus nerve, and understand that when you pair that with box breathing, we're getting the cold exposure, we're getting that autonomic nervous system back into a parasympathetic state, rest and digest, we're building resiliency, and we're doing all these things which can correlate into better glymphatic drainage. We're getting all the proteins and the toxic waste out so that we're getting better restorative sleep as a whole and brain functionality. Right? We don't want to have down regulation of cognition. We want to be sharp as a tack. That's what this is all about. Optimization, guys. So guys, it's going to wrap it up for Anhedonia, how we can mitigate that from PED usage and kind of what it is too. So now you have a better understanding. So guys, I hope that was educational for you. If you want to hear more about it, if you'd like to dive deeper into it, we definitely can do so. If you like what you're hearing, please hit that like, subscribe, bell notification for the next time I drop another video. Hopefully, I got to the point quick enough. Love you guys. The positive comments, the constructive criticism, and the negative comments. Guys, truly, thank you so much for the support of myself, AJ Sims, Cement Factory. That's Kingdom Built. That's a full churn. We can't be dealing with blunting our pleasures. God gave us pleasures for a reason, so let's enjoy them to the fullest. As long as they're safe, you guys get that brain functioning, get that gut functioning, drop that cortisol. Let's have some fun. Let's get some great results. Until the next video, God bless.